getting started, well, tell us, how did Duck Dynasty come about? This great show that's taken television by storm, helped to redefine reality and traditional television.
All right. Duck Dynasty, so it was about, I guess, 6 years ago. We were approached by a shotgun company named Benelli Shotguns out of Maryland, and they sponsored us. So they paid us money to use their shotguns. And Benelli said, hey, you guys should do a show. We'll pay for it. We'll pay for the show. Y'all can be on it. Half of it was kind of reality, and half of it was just going to be hardcore hunting, promoting the shotguns themselves. And so none of us were quite sure that a show would work, and my wife was convinced that it would work. She was the only one in the family that watched reality television. None of us did or still do. And she said, I think this will work, and so they were going to pay for it. And I thought this would be great advertising for our business. I thought we could sell more duck calls. And so right before the meeting, we're going in, and Corey said, and I think they should pay you guys money. And I said, Corey, they're not going to pay us money. Like, they're doing enough. I mean, they're going to put us on television. And she said, I'm going to ask for money. I said, do not screw this deal up, okay? Just don't get greedy here. Let's just go in there. And she said, let me try. So we had the meeting. They said, okay, we'll produce a show. Corey said, oh, one more thing. I think you should pay the guys, Phil, Jason, Willie. I think you should pay them, cut it in that, pay them $30,000 a piece. And I thought,
Why don't you take this one?
I'll just talk. Let me talk about
That's
it.
fine.
You're fine.
Okay, that's great.
So she said $30,000 a piece, and I thought, 30,000, like you went way too high, and I'm just dying inside. The guy looks up and he goes, okay. And I went, shoot, we should have said 50. So we started right there. And I came home, of course, I was bragging. I was like, we're doing a television show. My father said, this will never work. And I said, they're going to pay us $30,000. And they were like, what? They're paying us $30,000. So that's how the show, that's how that show began. And so that was on Outdoor Channel. The first year the show was out. So on the Outdoor Channel, we have an award show. It's called the Golden Moose Awards. I'm sure you're all heard of it. A prestigious award show. Half of the awards are given out by producers who vote, and the other half are by fans. So the first year we won almost every award that it could give, we won. We had plaques and trophies and Golden Moose. You actually won a moose. Awards, and so the show was real good. Our sales did go up, so we're excited about that. We did that show another year, and then out of the blue, I get an email for the general information box at Duck Commander. So you know how these boxes are. You know, some person gets these, and most are crazy and garbage, and so it was from a producer in Los Angeles. He said, I'm a producer, I make television shows, I've watched your show, Outdoor Channel. Now, he said he was an outdoorsman from Los Angeles, which, if you don't know what that means, he had a truck. That made him an outdoorsman.
And his name was Steve
Scott Gurney is his
Amazing.
name. And he sent this, and I had some secretary come in and say, Willie, there's something here from a producer. Do you want me to chunk it, or do you want to? And I read it, and I thought, I'll give him a call. So I gave him a call. Hey, it's Willie. And, you know, typical LA guy, you know, he's talking real fast. You know, he said, Willie, I mean, you do a show, you're going to be so famous, you ain't going to be able to walk through the mall. People are going to recognize you. I said, slow down. And so he said, let's make a sizzle reel, which we had just done 2 years of television. And the producers we have were really good. So we made a 3-minute sizzle reel, and we agreed to do it, put a sizzle reel out, and he started showing it all around LA and New York. And amazingly enough, a lot of people wanted it. Now you got to remember, this is Louisiana 6 years ago, so Louisiana was a hotbed for reality shows. You had Billy the Exterminator, Swamp People, Sons of Guns, because there was big tax breaks to come film in Louisiana. So a lot of the film industry was going there. People were setting up studios and bringing in people, and so we thought. So we showed it around to everybody, and we thought it was going to be on Spike. Spike offered a full season. So it was, of all the shows, that's where I thought it'd be. Out of nowhere, he calls me and says, A&E is interested in 2 pilots. And I thought, well, that's not a good deal, because we already got, and he said, bro, if A&E picks it up, they're giant, you know. And I said, well, whatever you think. And he said, the bad news is if they do the 2 pilots and pass, it's pretty much over, because nobody else will touch it, because once the network says no. And I said, well, let's try it. So we shot 2 episodes for A&E. One was where Jace flooded the loading dock, and the other was where we tried to lift a trailer up in the air to hunt out of it. And we had no idea what we were doing, and we got out there and we shot the show, sent it to A&E, waited for word back. Word came back. A&E says, this is not the show that we ordered. And we were like, And they said, it's way better than the show that we ordered. Because if you look at just a photo of us, they thought it was kind of like swamp people with beards and everything's going to be dangerous. And I remember saying, Willie, what's the dangerous parts? I live in Louisiana. I'm like, there's snakes, spiders. I mean, there's not really a lot of things, alligators, you know. And but what they saw was something totally. They were like, this is a family show. And A&E typically, I mean, they have a big, like a 50-50 audience. Never dreamed it was going to be a 50-50. They didn't think women would watch it, so they thought it's probably going to be a History Channel show. But all of a sudden they see the family, and they saw it was funny. Nobody thought it was going to be funny. But they started seeing these personalities, and they were like, we actually think this is funny. Families can watch this. And the original show was all the couples running the business. So it was myself, my wife, my brothers, mom and dad. The person who was missing on the show was Si. And I looked down, they didn't have him on the list. And I called the guy up and I said, hey, y'all, you don't have Uncle Si on the list. You really need to look again at Uncle Si, because he is a character. And they said, we may use him from time to time. And then they met him, and we're like, holy cow, this guy. And there wasn't enough room for Uncle Si. That's how the show got started. And from there, in fact, David McKillop picked the show up. David McKillop had just gotten to A&E. He came from History. Other shows he had picked up, just still looking at pilots, were Deadliest Catch, Pawn Stars. I mean, this guy picked a lot of winners. And it was his first show he picked up at A&E, was Dynasty. And I remember I saw the first ratings, and I think we had like 1.5 or 7 million viewers, and I had no idea what it was. And I said, Dave, is it good? Is it bad? Because we thought, I didn't know what that meant. He said, Willie, this show is going to start here, and it's going to keep going like this and keep going up. He said, by the end of the day, it's going to be a runaway freight train. And he called that before.
And this is the president of A&E.
This was the president, David McKillop. He's not there anymore. At the time he was there, it was the first show that he picked up. And he's moved on. A lot of people have moved on, you know, in the industry from where we started. But that's how the show started. And then it wasn't, I think it was a few years later, it was season 4 maybe, when Mom and Dad renewed their vows. That one was the one that broke the record. And became the most watched reality show in the history of cable television.
How many people?
It was 14 or 12.
Wow.
Yeah, it was huge. It went, I mean, it blew everything away. What I love about that is you have this show where Mom and Dad renew their vows, and you probably heard Dad's passed, and they've made it through all this, and so it was so great to see them. The shows that it beat, one was Jersey Shore, that was the highest, and the other was Kate and whoever the husband broke up. It was, that episode where they actually, remember when they were on the opposite ends of the couch. Those were the 2 shows that it beat. So I said, this says something about America, and now we have something positive. It was the most watched show, and it took off from there, and we just shot 130 episodes. That's how many we've shot so far.
It's amazing.